Hello, thanks for joining us today. This is Ken Farmer with Dyn 365 Pros. I'm the president and chief solution architect, and I will be presenting today on our Coffee with the Pros. 10-15 minutes of just some knowledge, some things that you may know, may not know. Either way, we're going to take you through it today. Thanks for joining us. On behalf of everyone at Dyn 365 Pros, welcome. We're a Microsoft partner headquartered in Southern California. Our mission is pretty simple. We provide the advice and services your business needs to introduce new efficiencies, increase your bottom line, and improve overall customer experience. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a little out-of-the-box tool known as Organization Insights. We use Organization Insights in a lot of different ways with our customers. This is an out-of-the-box solution, an out-of-the-box tool that you can either, if you've got it inside, you can keep it fresh. They always are releasing new updates. Or if you don't have it yet installed in your system, I'll show you how to do that today, but you're going to go ahead and grab it through AppSource. The information that it provides is pretty robust, and this is one of those tools that started small, and then as more and more people looked at it, they enjoyed it, enjoyed the analytics that it was providing and the information that it was really giving to them regarding how their system works, right? And how many people are doing what inside the system. So today I'm just going to kind of take you through that real quickly. You can see here on the screen the graphic that I've got shows an active dashboard. We're going to show you one today. I'm going to show you one today from a sandbox environment of ours. So there's not going to be a lot of data, but it's going to allow me to go through the different sections and show it to you. And of course, if you'd like some help in getting it installed and having us walk you through it, please don't hesitate to contact us. Our contact information will be on the final slide when we get done. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Let me switch over here. Perfect. So how you install it or how you check to see that it's installed, you need to be an administrator in your system. And this is what I'm showing you here is Dynamics 365 Online. And you start by picking which instance that you want to work with. We're going to be working with this sandbox instance here. You can see over here on the right side, it talks about the solutions. And if you don't see Organization Insights listed here, and you can drill in and get a little bit more information. Look for it in the list. I know it's on the next page, and you'll see it right here. So this happens to be the current version. You can see that it is installed. Now, if it was not the most current version, you'd see something like this. So you'd click on Relationship Insights, and you'd go over here and you'd be able to upgrade it. And you just let it do its thing. It's pretty non-destructive, so these are really good tools to be able to install into your system. We've got at the taping a date here, 1.3.1.0 is the most recent version. So that's what we've got installed. Now, if by chance you don't have it installed in your system, let me show you where you can go. So let's go here to AppSource. This is Microsoft's AppSource. And this is where, if you haven't spent any time looking through here, there's quite a bit of not only consulting information, solutions and services. For instance, we have a medical device solution. And we're going to scroll down here. And you can see we've got our medical device solution here ready to be implemented. It's a template that we provide. You can get all kinds of different things in here. What we're going to look for is, of course, the Organization Insights real quick. And you can see as I'm typing, it's starting to fill in the information, pull up the app results. So here it is, the Microsoft Dynamics 365 Organization Insights. We'll click on that. Gives you a little bit of information. It also gives you a nice little video kind of walking you through a little bit more, so you can get more information if you go out and take a look at that. the nice thing, you look at this and you can see who the publishers are. Now, you have to be careful with what's out there on AppSource. While Microsoft has vetted it, there's some things out there that may be published by a company that you're not aware of, you've never heard of, and unfortunately, sometimes it might be a little difficult to get support. So just kind of be on the lookout when you're out here, you're looking. If you have any questions, again, don't ever hesitate to get in contact with us, and we can help walk you through all of that. All right. So let's go take a look. We're in one of our sandbox environments here. And this is the home page. This is what you come into. And what it's going to walk you through is it starts really trying to track historically what's going on in your system. And you can put in some date ranges. You can make different changes to the date ranges that are displayed. Because this is one of our sandbox environments, we haven't been in here recently. So there's not a lot of data to display. But you can see here on this first home page, how many active users do you have in the system? How many API calls have been made? What's your success rate on those APIs? And if you've got any plugins, how are those executing? Are they clean? Are you having problems with getting the, are you getting errors? Those kinds of things. So it really starts providing you with quite a lot of information around what's going on. And you'll see this little icon here on a couple of these charts where you can export the data to Excel. A couple of them, it's actually very convenient and provides you with a lot more information than you may have on your chart here. So here in this case, we've got just some basic stuff. Most active users performing operations, top plugins by failure. So if you're having some plugins that are causing you issues, those will be listed there. So you can really start trying to dive into your data. The next on the list, and you'll see you pretty much got some navigation here on the left-hand side. And if you hover over each one, it gives you what the name of that dashboard is. So you can sort of drill directly in. So for instance, if you were having storage issues or you wanted to see where most of your storage was being consumed, you could just click right on that. You get a dashboard that walks through and tells you about the instance that you're currently working in, and then perhaps the other instances that are out here that you can drill into and see which of your instances might be using different levels of storage. You can also then get all the stats regarding the current instance that you're working in, right? So if we start over here on the right, top tables by size. So when you're up against your data limits, you really want to start figuring out what the problem is. Where are you mostly consuming your storage? For instance, we generally see in many customers' instances, and frankly our own, you've got if you've got audit turned on, your audit tables grow. If you are saving attachments through emails and such, those are being saved directly to the database unless you're using a tool like from MS CRM add-ons, the attachment extractor tool, which we love, and we actually are getting ready to install on our own system. We've done it for several clients and it's worked out great. And then you can go in and you see this is the top table size, all right? So this is by megabits. So you can really look at your data, whether it's by total space used or just by row count, right? So if you start looking at some of your row count information here in our sample database, we don't have a lot of activities, we don't have a lot of audit records and all that kind of thing. So you can really see, and if you hover over it, it's going to give you a little bit more detail, the actual row count, just as up here you go in and you look at, for instance, this table is web resource base, and you've got 428 megs that are being consumed by that one, all right? Same thing, just scroll down a little bit, size of the common tables. So these would be common tables that they normally see and they identify as being those that generally are larger. You've got your async operation-based table, your audit-based table, and of course the attachment-based table. Those are there because those are the ones that Microsoft sees throughout most of the environments. That's where they're really seeing the table growth, and that's where you can. There's some tips and tricks to help control those. Maybe we'll do that on another Coffee with the Pros. And then it just gives you some date and time stamps and how that goes. Obviously, this is a pretty pretty static environment because it's one of our sandboxes, and then you can see how the tenant space is there as well. So it gives you a lot of information, and the one thing that I like is we can go up here and take a look at this top tables by size, and if you export it, it gives you a little bit more information when you're looking at it in Excel that you can use to help pinpoint, where you need to go, what you need to do to help alleviate that. Let's go up and start kind of going through these. We jump down to storage because that's generally the one that most customers see and that they use because you get charged, right, for extra storage. But we also take a look at, for instance, this is our active users. And we use this with clients to help them with their user adoption. So we have a program called Dyn 365 Assist, and what it is a fixed fee admin program that we work with our clients. It's fixed fee to the client, and not only are we providing support, unlimited support, but we also provide training. We also provide assistance with user adoption and assistance with data governance, because we find that those are the key areas that you normally have an unsuccessful implementation of any ERP system, business apps, ERP, CRM, whatever the case may be. You've got to make sure that even though you go live day one, everybody's supposedly trained, the data is probably the cleanest it's been in years, everybody's excited. If you don't maintain with the data governance piece, how's your data being entered? Is it being constantly refreshed? Is it relevant to the users? Can they trust the data? That's what we really try and encapsulate around data governance. The second thing is user adoption. Are you people actually using the system, or have they pulled out a spreadsheet and they're doing something in there instead, which they may think is fine for them, but the challenge is you don't get those metrics back. You aren't able to see those metrics and see what's going on and have the data, that's now organizational data instead of perhaps individual or tribal data, right, within your system. So those are the key pieces that we help with, and all of that wraps up with us then introducing additional learning sessions and training sessions for a client's users. Maybe it's an hour on advanced find or searching or something like that really gives them the ability to see more. And when you have users in the system, they start being shown here in these dashboards, right? Who are your most active users and what actions are they performing? Creates, updates, deletes, and reads. So it starts giving you, the more users you have, the more people that are in there, you really start looking at who's using the system. And that can be extremely important as part of all those things we talked about, right? User adoption, data governance, and then additional training to help further that along. So this is really good information for an active admin in your system. And for those of our clients that have our Dyn 365 Assist program, we sit down and we go through this with them on a periodic basis, get them used to looking at it and understanding what the data may mean. So we're going to just jump over here to system jobs. This is where it kind of talks through some of the workflows that you've got going. Most of our customers, especially those that we initially implemented, we've got some key productivity workflows or plugins or any number of things that we may have created to help them further their process along, to help them get to that level of efficiency that really makes sense and helps the system pay for itself. And this is where you can start seeing, are those workflows executing, and by what percentage? System jobs, are you having an issue with some of them getting through? You've got throughput, you've got any top workflows by failure, things that may not be processing the way you want to, which if you're not taking a look at this information on an occasional basis, you won't know any of the symptoms that might be occurring until you get a full-blown failure in the system, or the data is whacked because some workflows haven't been running for 6 months that you weren't aware of. And so it's important to be able to go through this data on an occasional basis and see what's happening, what's going on. Here's plugins, most active plugins, data, and again, in a lot of our customers that have had these built in, this has been a huge help because we can really start getting information before it becomes a full-blown problem. We can attack the symptoms early on and be proactive. Here's some API calls, the different most used APIs, and you can see a little bit more information here as we've tried to work with some things that we've been doing on this lately. Different API calls, you can kind of see how many of them, what the API is, if you've got failures. All of this information is here and is constantly updated. And if you needed to drill in at a specific time frame, you just change this up here, put in your date range, and go from there. Email. So when you've got server-side sync set up, this is a huge dashboard to really help walk you through. You can kind of see the data here. I'm not going to read all of it. But the key things to me are when you're dealing with the active profiles, right? Who are the most active? In some cases, this helps because combined with maybe your storage report, you start seeing all of those users that perhaps are tracking an enormous number of emails that may or may not apply to what they're doing. And those emails may have incredibly huge, whatever it happens to be, spreadsheets, marketing media, collateral, whatever the case may be. All of that helps you identify those things that you need to keep your system healthy. If there's any configuration errors, you've got usage, mailboxes, and of course the email profiles. We already looked here at the dashboard for your storage, and then the last thing is this last area. So Microsoft has really understood that you need to perhaps grab snapshots of what's going on here. Maybe you need to pass it off to somebody, a department head or a line of business leader, to really start working with their employees, their staff on some of these things. So here's one place where you can go in and you start grabbing all of this information. So we could say most used out-of-the-box entities, most used custom entities. So it gives you a lot more drillable information where you can pull these up, see what you've got, download it, and then be able to pass that on to somebody else within the organization to help you address some of the key issues that you may be try to address and work with the users. The last thing, and I'm sorry, I neglected to show you, where you find Organization Insights once it's loaded is under Settings. And under Settings, you'll see that it's right here. Okay, so there's a lot of information here. There's a lot of data. I highly encourage everybody. We encourage all of our customers generally in new implementations. We go ahead and get this installed right away so that it starts collecting data right away, and we can use it and show it to our customers as soon as possible. And that's really it for today. The Organization Insights is a key piece of keeping your system fresh, of keeping your implementation moving forward as it needs to, and it allows you to truly understand what's going on within your organization and within your system. Microsoft is going to be adding more and more metrics to this as it goes along. There's quite a few that we've been talking with them about. It's under NDA, but you'll see, I think, more and more information being served up and surfaced through these organization insights dashboards, as well as a potential Power BI connection kit. So you can drill into there. And that's it for us today. I want to pull up the, here we go. And then let's just kick back over. And that's our info. Please don't hesitate to contact any one of us. That's a general email box, and that phone number goes directly to our sales group. So if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate. Again, my name is Ken Farmer, and I'm the President and Chief Solution Architect for Dyne 365 Pros. Don't tell you how many times I do that. All right, thanks very much.